Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll try it. Uh,
Sure.
he said, I mean, like killing people is actually committing sin,
Mhm.
and then he's not going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's not going to be any enjoyment.
Mhm.
And killing families will lead to the destruction of social and society.
Mhm.
And and I think the other one, I think that's what I remember, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. First one was compassion. Like Arjuna was so compassionate about his family members and friends, he felt that he will held responsible and he does not want to see his family members dying. So that's why Krishna has to counteract in chapter 2. And the other one was indecision. Like after, he was not ready um, uh, to start the war against. He was confused whether he should fight with them or leave and then go away, run away from the battle. So he was not pretty sure about that. So that's why Krishna has to come up with so many contradicting points to substantiate why Arjuna has to fight. Are you able to see my screen? No. No. Let me try again. So in chapter 2, we saw that Krishna was giving valid points as why to answer Arjuna's 5 doubts. So Krishna gave those points and he said, no, Arjuna, you have to fight. And chapter 3 is called as Karma Yoga, yes, yoga of action or work in Krishna consciousness. Let's see what is this all about. So now, and with chapter 2, I think Bhagavad Gita should be done, right? Why would we have chapter 3 again? Because Krishna has provided all the justifications for Arjuna's question as why he has to fight. What is this compassion he is thinking about? And what is a better way? And he also still talk about Sthita Prajna and all the details, correct? So ideally, Bhagavad Gita should be completed by chapter 2 because Arjuna's questions are already answered. But now we are going to start with yet another chapter because Arjuna still has questions. Let's see what those are. Before we start, let's pay our obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Only through His grace, we are able to understand what Krishna is really trying to teach us. So let's pay our obeisances to Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Temple of ISKCON Mangaluru welcomes you all for this at another weekend session. Thank you so much for deciding to spend your weekend with us to learn more about the Bhagavad Gita as described by Lord Shri Krishna. So as Prabhuji said, chapter 1, Arjuna had patience, and chapter 2 started with indecision, and finally Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, and Krishna gave the response. But now, let's see what Arjuna is trying to ask. So these were the sections. Krishna gave answers to all those Arjuna's questions through Karmakanda. So he said jnana, he said talked about soul, and he said karma kanda, no Arjuna, it is your duty as a kshatriya dharma, it is your duty. And you know what, we also saw this neha vikramana shosti. So start gaining this buddhi yoga, because even the small knowledge which you gain, it will never be perished. And start gaining this knowledge. Work with Nishkama Karma Yoga, work without any fruitative results. So when Krishna spoke about this Buddha Yoga, Arjuna got it out. Okay, how does this person act? How does this person carry himself in this material world by following this Nishkama Karma Yoga? Because we are not talking about some renounced person sitting in some forest, right? Krishna says, do your duty, but you still be detached. So Arjuna has asked few questions, and that's why Krishna has to give response related to Srita Prajna. Like how does he carry himself? How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he he spoke about everything. Like he has control over the senses, and just like a tortoise, he will shun away if he sees that there is some problem here. He will not let his senses wander out, and he will keep everything to himself. So now chapter 3 is going to deal with yet another confusion. Now, because Arjuna had listened to Krishna in the chapter 2, right? What did Krishna say? He spoke about jnana, and he also spoke about the duty, and he also spoke about Buddhi Yoga, and he said Buddhi Yoga, Neha Vikrama, only an intelligent person can follow it, and intelligent person will keep his senses away. He will not retract, correct? So now Arjuna got a doubt again. He had got the confusion again. Okay, Krishna, you are telling me that it is better that you, as a Kshatriya, you want me to fight. Okay, I have to fight. But at the same time, you also tell me that I have to renounce also, that I should not be attached, I should be detached, and I should not expect, and sita pragya, keeping away from everything. I'm so confused to Krishna. So he's asking the question again. So Krishna is going to counteract with few other detailed explanation to answer Arjuna's question. That is how these are all the sections we have in chapter 3. So the first section is about dealing with confusion. What is this confusion all about? So Arjuna is having confusion. Should I renounce or go and fight with them? What are you asking me to do? Just tell me one thing, Krishna. Are you asking me to fight or are you asking me to renounce? And Krishna is going to counteract with the details. Renunciation is difficult, that we will see. And then Krishna is also going to talk about Nishkama Karma Yoga. And Arjuna will have another questions again, for which Krishna is going to respond and talk about lust. So first is renunciation or work. Arjuna is asking, oh Krishna, what do you want me to do? Are you asking me to fight or are you asking me to renounce? Just tell me one thing. Ekam vada. Just tell me one thing. Arjuna, go and fight. Arjuna, renounce. Just tell me one thing. You are telling me both. You are giving me knowledge of soul. At the same time, you are asking me to fight as a Kshatriya. I am confused again. So what is the connection between chapter 2 and chapter 3? Always there will be some connections. The senior devotees have helped us to establish the connection. It's not just that randomly they are asking this question and answers. Sorry. So in chapter 249, Krishna says, keep away from these abominable activities. Right? Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddha Sharanam Anviche Kripana Falahetavaha. So he said, Krishna says, Durena Hyavaram Karma. Just stay away from these abominable activities. Okay. And use your intelligence to determine what is the right thing to do. But Arjuna interpreted in different way. Oh, do stay away means you are asking me not to get involved, which means you are asking me not to fight. At the same time, Krishna is asking him to fight. So that is the reason Arjuna is having a doubt. So chapter 3 is going to start with, this is a verse. Chapter 3 is going to start with Arjuna's question. Arjuna uvacha nyayasi che karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. Oh Krishna, why are you asking me to fight this ghastly war when you tell me that Buddhi Yoga, through Buddhi Yoga, you are asking me to keep away from these abominable activities? Why are you asking me? If you think this intelligence is far better, then why are you asking me to fight, Krishna? So Arjuna is now again in a confused state. He thinks Buddhi Yoga, that is acting in this devotional service, is everybody thinks it's like an inertia. It is doing activity, not doing activity at all, just doing tapas. No, this is not just inertia. So we don't have to, they think that we have to go to a secluded place, do meditation. And What Krishna is trying to justify in the forthcoming verses is, no, it is not advisable you to just give up and then go to the forest and then renounce, because when the heart is not purified, why we are sorry, why we are talking about heart purification? We have 6 anarthas, right? What are all the 6 anarthas? Does anybody know? Anybody know? What does it anartha signify? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madam, Ashcharyam. These are the 6 anarthas which will just, when the soul comes into this material world, he will be entangled with all these 6 anarthas, and he does not even realize that he is being entangled. So these are all the anarthas. Okay, so we are having all these anarthas. Though I don't like to openly admit that I have these anarthas. If somebody asks me, do you get angry? I will say, no, I'm a calm, quiet person. But only within me, I know when I get angry, for what reason I get angry. Do I get angry even for petty things? If my wish is not getting satisfied, do I get angry for that? Only I know, only internally we know. We don't go and admit to whole entire world that I have 6 anarthas. But every one of us, that is why we need to purify, we need to clear, because as long as we have anarthas, we won't be able to establish the connection or get the understanding of what is the real necessity of the soul. Until then, we will still be entangled in this anartha. So that's why Krishna is saying, it's not advisable to get into this type of renunciation without proper training. Like, it has to be, heart has to be cleansed. That's why Mahaprabhu came and gave us this holy name, because this is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. This will clear away. On the other day, I was seeing in the kids section, kids class, they were doing the experiment. Then, I mean, if you have kids, you can try at home. In a container, they had a muddy water. In a cup, they had a muddy water, and they were trying to pour the water on top of it. What happens when you start pouring good water on top of the muddy water? Anybody know? Say, I already have a muddy water, cup of a muddy water, and now I'm trying to pour the fresh water on top of it. What will happen?
The water will also get unclear. It will also get muddy.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you, Prabhuji. Haribo. So eventually this muddy water will try to come out, and only the container will have the pure water. So that is what the process is all about. We have so many anarthas. We need to get in something good. That's why Acharya says, I don't have to artificially go and hunt for the good qualities or get away from the bad qualities. Once I start inculcating good qualities, once I start following the good qualities, then automatically my bad qualities will go away. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to clear anything. Once I do good, that's why sadhana is very important. Because once we start doing good things, automatically the bad things get gone away. So Krishna is going to reject what Arjuna is trying to propose. And Arjuna is asking, Vyamishrena Vyakena Buddhim Mohayasi Hame Tad Ekam Vada Nishchitya Yena Shreyoham Apnuyam. Okay, Krishna, tell me just one thing. Okay, don't give me this equivocal information. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. No, that ekam vada. Just tell me one thing. What should I do? So Krishna is going to, sorry. Krishna, this is because Arjuna got doubt because of these 2 verses. First, he said, he talked about before talking about the Buddhi Yoga, like after talking about Karma Kanda, like be a Kshatriya, your duty as a Kshatriya is to fight, right? Now, what did Arjuna say? I mean, sorry, what did Krishna say? Now, now I have told you about both the speculative knowledge, analytical study, the jnana of the soul, and also I talked about Karma Yoga. Now, listen to me, Partha, how you can free yourself once you start. Buddhir yoge tvam imam shrunu. So I'm going to talk about this Buddhi Yoga. And what is the benefit? One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes consciousness, is a man of steady intelligence. So because of these two instructions which Arjuna received, Arjuna got confusion again. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Naga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The Supreme Personality of God had said, "O sinless Arjuna, I have explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand through empirical philosophical speculation and others by devotional service." You know what? There are two classes of people. One, everybody who like to do the self-realization. And in the process of self-realization, they these two classes realize the self in two different ways. One, through empirical knowledge, like Sankhya Yoga. But that's what we have talked about, this knowledge of soul. And there is much more than that knowledge of soul. They try to analyze in 24 elements, and they try to do it much more elaborately through analytical study. And other one is philosophical speculation, through devotional service. So that's what they said, these two classes of people. One is through philosophical speculation, that is through Sankhya Yoga, and other through devotional service. What are they trying to see? So Sankhya Yoga and Karma, Sankhya Yoga and Karma, they are independent, like religion and philosophy. Here, Acharya is trying to say it's very important both gel together. We can't work with independently. Like, if there is a religion, there should also be a philosophy. We can't just have religion with no base, or it will, if there is a religion without philosophy, then it is just a sentiment or some fanatism. But if the philosophy says, people who are so philosophically oriented, or they talk about so many things, and they does not have a ground base, which is a religion, then it is just a mental speculation that is not going to lead anything. And everybody should understand the ultimate goal is Krishna, understanding of the self in relation to the super self. Okay. The devotional service, these other branch, the philosophical study, it is going to, definitely it has to reach Krishna. Okay. If something they are doing, even the self-realization, if the other class, they are trying to do something which is not going to lead them to Krishna, then that is totally useless. So Krishna is not even taking that sector into control. Okay. And Krishna is just talking about those philosophical study which is ultimately going to lead to the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is saying, even that will come to me, but that is going to be a gradual process. But if you take up the devotional service, it directly connects to the Lord. So that's why they say the path of this Krishna conscious is better. Okay. And it is very easy and sublime. We will see how it's easy and sublime as we proceed through the further chapters. But this is what Krishna is trying to tell here. For some reason, okay, we saw what is religion, what is philosophy. Going. Okay, Sankhya Yoga, this we saw detail, like indirect path, this is direct path. Dependence on personal endeavor. Yes, it's totally depend on me, because I have to understand the philosophy. I have to understand how this Sankhya Yoga work. It is my personal endeavor. But what is the benefit of this Buddhi Yoga? It's purely dependent on Krishna's mercy. We just have to keep doing the sadhana and just follow the principles. Automatically we seek benefits. Unsure of success, but it is surety of success. Okay, so initial purification described by prescribed duty. So before even we take up to the Sankhya Yoga, there has to be an initial purification. Unless another, that's why the Varnamashrama Shristam, is very important because it will help to purify. That is the prerequisite if we have to take any other process. Because as we keep following my duties prescribed as per the Varna and Ashrama, we will slowly get purified. One day we will come to a realization, okay, what is it now? What is more than this? That will come one day. Until then, only then we will be able to understand that philosophy. But Buddha Yoga does not require any purificatory. By means, the Krishna consciousness is already a purificatory process. That's why Mahaprabhu was insisting on the holy name. If we read the Shishtashtakam, it is so potent. Even just the first verse, I mean, we can keep speaking about the first verse for many classes. That first verse will tell us how the potent is the holy name and how it can help us to cleanse and then reform ourselves. So Krishna is saying, you know what, Arjuna? Nahi kashit shanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit. Krayate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gune. You know what, Arjuna? Nahi kashit. Not even shanamapi. Even a shanam. You know, you have heard the divisions of time, right? Sorry. Even for the minute quantity of the time, it is fraction of the time. Shanam is, that's what they won by, there is something, if it is detailedly explained in, I think, chapter 10 or chapter 11, I think chapter 11 of Canto 3. There is a verse which explains about the divisions of time, and Shanam is like almost 1 by 16th or 32, something like that. Even for that fraction of time, the soul cannot be inactive. This soul, the conditioned soul, when it is in material world, when it is being entangled, that soul, not the liberated soul. So here Krishna is talking about when we are in this material world, we will be always be in the target of these three modes. Okay, we have acquired these qualities through three modes, and therefore one cannot refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So when the soul is inactive, I mean, the soul is always trying to be active, you can't put the body to rest. So for soul, this body is like a baggage. And you are talking about renouncing and then going to the forest. You know what? You can't do that, Arjuna, because you have not been purified. And it is not just about you. It's not that you are engaging your body to fight. You know what? The soul cannot be put into rest just for a shanam. So you can't refrain. So that is why I tell you, fight. Okay? But fight for the without detachment. Fight for the cause without detachment. Do your duty without attachment. Sorry, it's I think said detachment. Do your duty without attachment. That's why Krishna is trying to say. So Krishna says embodied soul is always active. It pushes the encasing body also to constant activity. Even if you don't like it, Arjuna, somehow you will end up doing something. Like sorry, how many times we have also done, like, I don't feel like doing anything, but how many times have we repented for doing something which we wished that we didn't do it? Because we have been pushed by the three modes. Later we would have repented. Why did I did that? Why did I speak like that? Why did I do that? Because I know internally I don't want to do it, but at that moment, at the spur of the moment, I don't know what even I'm doing. So I do something. So that's what Krishna is saying. You can't be like that. So the illusionary energy binds the soul. So we have to be, though they say, respite only the through purification process given in the Shastra, right? Like, only if we follow the process to the dot in the Shastras, eventually the heart will get purified. It's not just today, okay, I decided, and today I follow the instructions in the Shastras, and tomorrow my heart gets purified. No, over a period of time. That's what they say. Even Brahma, any living entity can get the position of Brahma. How? If he follows the Varnashrama Dharma for 100 lifetime. If anybody follows the Varnashrama Dharma sincerely for 100 lifetimes, then that living entity will get the position of a Brahma. So that's how it is. It's not very easy. And in Krishna consciousness, no purification is required because it is self-purificatory. That we will see how. So that's what they are trying to say. The soul by default is active in nature. It needs some engagement. I have to keep myself active. How many times we have seen the elderly people, they try to do something and then they finally end up doing, feeling that they couldn't do, or they really wanted to help because by nature it's active. And then if we are not directed by the right guidelines or principle, what we do, then we get dictated by the illusionary energy and we do something bad. Instead, what it is being recommended, follow what is good for the bhakti. There is no loss or diminution or fall down. In contact, when the soul gets contact with the material nature, it acquires the mode of material nature. And but when we follow the Shastras, like the Varnamashrama Shastras, we follow, and by following the prescribed duties, the soul gets purified and eventually it will lead to Krishna consciousness. Okay. So why Krishna is insisting on this? Because karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimodhatma mityacharasa uchyate. You know what? You will be called mityachara. Mityachara means a pretender. You will know what, Arjuna? If you try to renounce artificially when you are not ready, when you are not purified, but you think that, oh, okay, by becoming renouncer, then I will think about it. Then you will be called as a mityachara, pretender, because your senses are not purified. Okay, so you will still have that affinity towards, maybe outwardly I might wear a sannyasi dress. So this picture is very famous. It's a favorite picture of Namanishta Prabhu. So what is so different in this picture? Anybody can tell me? Why do this picture signify this picture is added for this? Anybody can get it?
He is showing as a saint, as a saintly person, but on one hand he is having a cigarette, and other hand he is having a mobile. So
Yeah.
naturally, so he's just like a pretender that I am a big saint. And
Yeah, Haribol. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, that is what it is. So outwardly we might wear something, but inwardly, that's what they say. In the morning, maybe we can act, but over the night, our senses get disturbed and it will just torture us. Do this, do that, do this, do that. So we might act, but we are just pretending. So Krishna does not want us to be a pretender. Gradually raise yourself. Yastva indriyani manasa niyamya Arjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asakta savishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga without attachment, he is far superior. So here the karma yoga signifies that nishkama karma yoga, not just karma kanda. But he's saying, but if on the other hand, if you try to control the senses, like anybody know who's this? What are they doing?
Rajao Puri, he used to sweep the temple every day.
Yes, Puri Jagannath. He is a famous. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Actually, he is the king of Puri, Jagannath Puri, and he cleans the temple every day.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So that's what they say. We can't just restrict our senses. We can't just lock our hands and legs and then say sit in one place and then try to, How many of us are able to do that even now? When we try to chant, how many times have our mind wandered? Anybody have that feeling? How many times we had trouble in focusing what we are trying to do? We have been so used to this multitasking. Now multitasking is the go-to word these days. If we are not doing multitasking, then they say, oh, you are not capable of doing this job. That's how it has been advertised, right? Sorry. But what they're trying to say is, no, because we have been so used to keep everything in action, all our senses in action. So that's what, you can't just restrict the senses and ask it not to do anything rather than purify it. That's why this is King Prataprutra. What he does is, every day he cleans the temple, and he is a great king, but he still came down and then he used to clean the temple premises. So once we start engaging our senses in the service of the Lord, automatically the senses gets purified. We don't have to do anything special. Just, that's why they say devotional service is very easy and very sublime. It does not require anything. It does not even require intelligence. We just need to have an intelligence to understand, yes, this is the good process, and I am not doing something awkward. I don't have to feel shy to do it. Somebody might feel, oh, what will he think if I do this? No, we just have to, because how will we get this conviction? Only when we understand, yes, this is the best process. And how will we understand this is the best process? Only by listening to these lecture or reading these scriptures. It will give us the confirmation, yes, this process is the best I have to do, no matter what. I might not be perfect today, I might not do it. Even when I chant, I might not be focusing 100%. My mind will go all the way, but I will put an effort to bring back the mind to focus. Every day should be an effort, everyday effort. It's not like, oh, today I did not focus, so I don't think I'm right for the candidate for this, so I will give up. No, there is no give up. Every day we try, every day we lose, every day we try. That's what they say, right? A winner is someone who gets up every time when he falls down. That's how the winner is, like in the boxing champion. How much ever we push him or punch him, he will try to, the referee will still give him a chance if he's able to get up and then start fighting. That's how the winner is being assessed, not by the number of punches or the counts. So that's what it is. Keep trying, keep doing. We are not the referee. Who is the referee? The Lord is the referee. The Lord will say, oh, this person is trying for a long time. Okay, let me bestow him some mercy, so that now it will be some effortless. So until that time, we will keep doing. And even after that, we will keep doing. So one who restrains from senses, this is for the mithyachara. What happens? A pretender is a great cheater because he shows himself to be in a great meditation, but mind dwells on his sense object. His philosophy has no values because it is stolen by the illusionary energy of a Lord. For sense enjoyment, that's why the 4 orders of the society are given, because it's very hard. It's very hard for everybody to be a brahmachari. Okay, that's why based on whatever my affinity is, I have to place myself in the particular ashrama, correct? Maybe Varna, it has already been decided. They have already said to which clan I'm sorry, but I can decide. I wanted to follow in Brahmacharya Ashram, Grihastha Ashram, Varnaprasthra, Sannyasa. So all the ashram is designed in such a way that the senses gets purified, because we follow the regulative principles, and gradually it will lead to purification. A sincere person will control his mind, engages action in karma yoga, that is nishkama karma yoga, like without attachment. What is this without attachment? How can we work through detachment? That we will see in the forthcoming chapter, and it is clearly explained in chapter 15. Until then, just have this concept in the word like nishkama karma yoga. And this is considered far superior. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmatyayo karmanaha sharira yata yatrakte na parishyat akarmanaha. Perform your duty, Arjuna, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one physical body without work. That is so true, right? Without doing any work, how can we maintain ourselves? Everybody needs food, shelter, and clothing. And if we all decide that we go to the forest and then do tapas and then do everything, how can we even maintain ourselves? Without doing work, we can't even maintain ourselves. So that's why Krishna is saying, do your work, Arjuna. Here, Krishna does not want Arjuna to be a pretender. The Lord emphasizes on the performance of one's prescribed duties. Being a Grihastha and Kshatriya, Arjuna, it's here it talks about Arjuna. Arjuna is the Grihastha and also at the same time he is Kshatriya, right? He was advised to perform his duties. Such performance would gradually cleanse his heart and free him from material contamination. Because we saw how eventually, by following the prescribed duties in Varnashrama, the heart will get cleansed. The so-called renunciation of activity, never approved by the Lord. So it's saying the same thing, same work. What is this? Some work has to be done. Like this verse, it says, without even work, you can't even maintain yourself, Arjuna. Just do. Don't pretend. Okay, that's what Lord is trying to say. So performing the prescribed duties is better than not working at all. So do your prescribed duties. Gradually, the heart gets purified. Fall down since activity is given. If we are trying to renounce artificially, then it will lead to fall down. Since activity is given up before purifying heart. What does it mean? Activity is given up. I'm not purified, but I have renounced that I will not do this work. Okay, but eventually what happens is I might commit some mistakes and I might fall down. Here, Acharya gives an example of, say, for example, Arjuna. Here, in this context, Arjuna wants to renounce and then go to the forest. But his heart is not purified. At least according to this, his heart is not. Actually, Arjuna is an eternal associate. So let's not go there. Like here, Arjuna is pretending like a common man like me and you. So here, Arjuna is not, sorry, Arjuna is not yet ready. So what happens? Assume that he goes to the forest. And one day he will go, say he is a renouncer. What he will do? He will go and ask for alms. Because a sannyasi cannot cook. He has some rules that needs to be followed, right? He can't cook. So he has to go and ask for alms. One day they will give, 2 days they will give. And say, for example, for after some time he does not give. Okay? Because his heart is not purified. Okay? One day, if he does not receive and if someone neglects him to give the alms, he might even bring out the Kshatriya quality of anger. What? You know what? I am a sannyasi and you are asking, telling me that you will not give alms. He might even do that. Like, even we can place ourselves in Arjuna's situation. We can also do that because our natural propensity, we don't know when our anger comes out. We don't know when our anarthas comes out. Without even knowledge, how many times we have repented it. I shouldn't have done it. I don't know what came over me. I shouldn't have spoken to you like this, right? So that is what Krishna is talking about. You know what? Without even getting purified, if you are trying to renounce, then it will only lead to fall down. Just give me a second. Sorry. So that's what it says. Fall down. It will, if I renounce without I'm being ready for it, I will lead to fall down. So now if Arjuna does like that, if he takes his bow and arrow and then he starts screaming or yelling at person for not giving alms, then he's really committing a offense on being a sannyasi. Sannyasi is supposed to be compassionate, soft, considerable, do everything. He's not right there, but automatically his other nature comes out. That's what Krishna is saying. So if that comes out, then you will fall down, Arjuna. Don't do that. So Prescribed duty. So what is prescribed duties? Engage in some himself in war and don't renounce. Work should not be given up capriciously. Just like that, don't do it without purification of material propensities. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणो यत् लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसंग समाचर. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Okay, you have to do work, but that work you can't do some illegal activities, or so you can't do something that is against the scriptures. That work has to be done for the satisfaction of the Lord. It has to be done as a sacrifice. Other works, what will happen if I don't do it? Then it will cause us bondage in the material world. Therefore, oh, son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. For whose satisfaction? For Lord's satisfaction. And in this way, you can free yourself from bondage. You know what? Arjuna might fear, oh, if I do the work, then I might get entangled, right? That's what Arjuna said. Well, sin will come if I do this. No, do your work, okay? But do as a sacrifice. Even that's what senior devotees recommend us. Even if, say, my duty as a grihastha, right? I have to take care of my family. I have some job to do, and I have to take care of my children. That is my responsibilities. But do as a sacrifice. Okay, I should see themselves. Oh, they are Lord's gift. This is Krishna's home. I have to clean it and think that I am cleaning Krishna's home just like a temple. So I'm not associating myself with what I have or possess. I'm seeing everything as the gift of the Lord. So, and I have to take care. They are Krishna's children. So here Krishna has given me an opportunity to take care of them, which means I have to be even more dutiful and then take care. Like if we are fond of others, correct, and if they give something of their possession, right, how much we take care of it, we will be very careful. Even our things we don't take care of that much, but if somebody trusts us and then give us something, you know what, please take care, I will come and get sometime later, will we just leave it? No, we will take care of that possession greatly, right? We'll be so much careful, just like the way we have to do our duties and do our responsibilities, because they are all the associated with Krishna. That's what they say. You do as a sacrifice. I am not doing this. I am not maintaining my family because they are my family, because they are the gifts. The Lord has given me this opportunity to take care. So now Krishna is going to talk about how from Karma Kanda one can get to Karma Yoga, just doing the activities, how you can just by not, don't just simply do for the sake of doing. Eventually see how it can lead up to the satisfaction of the Lord. If a person is too attached to the material life and he cannot perform Nishkama Karma Yoga, I will be bonded. Correct? You say, I am very much, Karma Kanda here refers to doing activities. Say, I'm going to work. Why I'm going to work? Because I wanted to get a big palace-like house. And how long I'm going to stay here in that house? As long as I am in this body. I'm not going to live that palace for eternity. Correct? But that understanding we won't get unless our heart is purified. So why do I have to toil myself? Why do I have to work day and night to get something which is going to perish? Why can't I put that effort for something which is going to come through eternity? What is that? Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayana vidyate swalpamabhyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So they say, Krishna already told, invest your time, effort, everything in this Buddhi Yoga, because that will not perish. It will only lead to something. One second. You will get life after life, the same thing. So if a person is too attached to material life, that's what they say, invest in something. So we just can't be karma kandis. Karma kandis are those who definitely they do work, but They do work for their self-satisfaction, for their own possession, for their own sense gratification. That's what Krishna is saying. If you are doing like this for your own thing, everything, you know what? That is all temporary. Even only as long as we are in this body, you will be able to enjoy. And we don't know, even if I am in this body, will I be hale and healthy until the last moment of my life? We don't know. Nobody. So we don't know how long we will be hale and healthy. So why are you trying to satisfy the senses which is going to perish in one lifetime? That's what they say. Hare Krishna. Can you please? Okay, so that's what they say. Sorry. That's what they say. Krishna is going to tell, move, level up yourself. Proceed from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. Here, Karma Yoga refers to Nishkama Karma Yoga, work without any attachment, fugitive. Don't expect for results. Oh, I'm working because I want this. It will be a business. I'm doing this because I need that. I'm doing that because I need that. It will be a business. No. Level up. For them, the Krishna's now Krishna is going to talk about the yoga ladder. There are 3 types of yoga ladder which we will see. But acharyas are so benevolent. They don't want us to go through the ladder one by one. They are going to give us a shortcut process. Let's see what it is. Perform work as a sacrifice to Vishnu or work cause bondage. That's what this verse talk about. So everything should be done as a sacrifice to Vishnu. Why? Because that will gradually elevate and develop transcendental loving service to the God. If we don't do that as a satisfaction, then it will lead only to sense gratification. And what will happen based on the good action and the bad action, or whatever action we do, then we will get another life form based on my desires. We don't want to get entangled in this birth, death, old age, disease, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. We don't want to get into this cycle. How do we come out? Only if we do this. How do we do this? We are going to see. So this is called an extended yoga ladder. What it is first everybody starts with the animal life, and once they get a human life, it is karma kanda. And then sakama karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and bhakti yoga. Okay, the sorry, here it is described as in chapter 2, when the concept of Bhagavan was introduced in the verse 2, right? In that, Srila Prabhupada would have clearly explained about this analogies of sunshine, sun disk, and sun planet. Okay, we can just give me a second. Sorry. So here the sunshine has come. So from here we can see sunshine. We can it will be clearly elaborated in the purport. I hope everybody going through the purport in the Bhakti Vriksha classes. Okay, so it's clearly explained. So with the sunshine, we can only see yes, the sun exists. We can't get more than that. But say if we enter into the sun disk, okay, sun disk, we can see okay, there is much more than the light and the sunshine. But once who enter into the sun planet, he will get better understanding because in the sun planet he can see the sun god. Similarly, in Bhakti Yoga, it will be a direct association with the Lord. Whereas in other process, it is not that much. But only from Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, at least there will be some connection. Until then, here it will all be like very indirect approach. So this is the extended yoga ladder. Whereas the progressive is animal life, where it's unrestricted sense gratification. Karma Kanda, people with, regulated self gratification. Sakama Karma Yoga is devotee with selfish desires. Okay, I worship Lord because the Lord will give me this. But we want to progress further. Nishkama Karma, devotee with no desire for personal interest, which will lead to Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. But the express is animal life, surrender and associate with pure devotees, sadhana bhakti, like whatever sadhana, that's why we do it, right? Doing devotional service based on the prescribed rules, bhava bhakti, and then prema bhakti. So this is what the Acharya says. Why are you going through so many ladders, which will lead you, anyway it will lead to the end, but it will take long time. Whereas follow the elevator express process. Sahayajna prajagrisritva purovacha prajapatihi anena pravishyadhyam esha vosto ishtakamaduk. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifice for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." So in the previous verse, Lord spoke about doing work for the satisfaction of the Lord. Right now, he is going to give a little detailed explanation about why, on how this has been created. How was this created? Because we got this form to satisfy some of our desires. Okay, but in the name of satisfaction, we don't want to end up doing some bad karma. Okay, we don't want to end up in a wrong place. So that's why Lord systematically organized a system. What is that system? He sent forth the generations of men and demigods along with sacrifice for Vishnu. So what will they do? You want to satisfy your senses. Say, for example, in the previous life, I had a very desire of eating voraciously or eating delicious food, right? Okay, you want to eat. Okay, don't just harvest and then eat. Rather, first sacrifice and get it as a prasad and then eat it so that the senses gets purified. So that is what the Lord is trying to explain here. There is a system to follow. Even in the name of satisfaction of my senses, first offer and then enjoy. Don't just blindly do it. These are all the karma kandis who just blindly, they don't worry about anything. It is my life. I have only one life. I don't know what I'm going to. They don't even bother about what is about next life. They don't care. They think that is only one life and get the most of it, out of it. But they say, we already studied in the chapter 2. It's not just one life. It's life after life after life based on my previous desires. So in order to purify the desires, this is a system Lord has set forward. Here the word Prajapati addresses Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living entities. And he is the Lord of all living creature, all words and all beauties. He is a protector of everyone. That's why he's called as Prajapati. Okay, he created the material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajnas, also called as Yajnapati. Yajnas, that's why we say yajnas or is referred to Lord Vishnu, because in chapter 5, Krishna would have said, Bhoktaram, yajna tapasam. So he is the benefactor of all the yajnas. So whatever yajnas or the sacrifice everybody do, it is for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. If they are doing something that is not ultimately going to reach Lord Vishnu, right? That yajna is actually nullified. In Shastras, it will never be like an approved form. But still, people who have less knowledge, they don't know. So in this material world, assured very comfortable life without anxiety. So if you do that, then you want to live happily, right? So if you want to live happily, so these are all the rules which you have to follow. And after completion of material existence, you can enter into kingdom of God. If you do this, eventually you will come. But our acharyas don't recommend this so many ladders. They say that's why Lord Chaitanya came to give us the Sankirtana Yajna. That is the Yajna for the Kali Yuga. So why it says that Lord wants living entities to understand? Because Vedesha Sarve Ahameva Vedyo. Right? In chapter 15, we will read that is the purpose of all Veda. The purpose of Veda is to understand the Lord, Supreme Lord. But what they do, previous Yamitam, Pushpitam, Vacham, but people get attracted to the flowery languages of the Vedas. What does the flowery language say? Oh, if you want this, do this. If you want this, do this. They get attracted and they settle for less. But here they say, don't settle for less. Understand the purpose of Vedas and act accordingly. देवान् भावयत्यातेन ते देवा भावयन्तु यः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयःपरम् अवाप्स्यतः. The demigod, being pleased by sacrifice, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. So here it's going to explain about one cycle. So what happens? So say when everybody started doing yajnas and they do sacrifice, and the result of it, the demigods become sacrificed. The demigods, they are not going to retain everything that these people are offered. The demigods finally will only give to the Supreme Lord. But here they say, so if you do this, demigods will be satisfied. So what will happen if demigods are satisfied? I will lead a prosperous life. How? Say, for example, we are doing yajna for the prosperity, right? So the Indra, the Agni Deva, everybody gets, and the Vayu Deva, everybody gets satisfied. So what will happen? Then they will give rain, they will give sun, the current amount of everything, so that my crops grow. And when the crops grow abundantly, then I can harvest, then I can reap the benefits. So everything will be in equilibrium if we follow this system. And here they say demigods are not just ordinary people. They are empowered administrators of material affairs, just like we have the government officials. Though the prime minister or his he is the final authority, he still have cabinet ministers and they still have other ministers, right? They are empowered. So even if the, say for example, the railway minister, he says, he is doing something, he's undergoing now, we are having this metro rail construction, right? It is overlooked only by the railway ministers. But still, the prime minister still has an authority to say, yes, he did this project because it comes under the jurisdiction. The railway minister is empowered to do the activity. Similarly, the demigods are empowered to do. They are not just ordinary persons like me. And they supply the necessary things like air, light, water. And they reside in different body parts of the Lord. Pleased or displeased by the performance of the yajnas, they can be pleased or displeased. We have seen this from Indra's displeasure, right? But that is a lesson to Indra, but that's how they did. They pleased the demigods. Specific yajnas are there for specific demigods. However, Lord Vishnu is the chief beneficiary of all yajnas because Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. He is the ultimate benefactor of all the yajnas. Okay, the yajnas sanctify one's eatables. Sanctified foodstuff purify one's very existence. So why we do? Only then the foodstuff which we get is sanctified. Like we still, every culture, every clan or they have their own tradition, right? Offering. It's just the name is different. It can be the harvest season. They have their own tradition and culture. First, they offer it to the Lord, and then they thank the God for giving a good yields, correct? Only then they use those harvest and they try to get money out of it, because everything is being done systematically. Our age-old practice, everything is being systemized based on these concepts only, because we want to sanctify it. Whatever we get, we want to sanctify. We just don't want to be like pure normal consumer. No, we want to thank God for giving us, only then we eat it. So that's why they say it's very important to get sanctified. But what does the Krishna consciousness is also telling? Yes, whatever you eat, have a sanctified food, because the finer tissues in the memory become satisfied, and memory is sanctified. One can think of the path of liberation, or else we will still be entangled. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness. Okay, if we are... Once you progress, you can see if you are not eating the sanctified food, the next day, the sadhana will get affected. You will have less inclination, because there is a difference of eating prasad and a non-prasad, because prasad is sanctified. It has touched the Lord's lips. So it's highly potent. So if anybody get an opportunity to visit your local temple and have prasad, please don't hesitate. Please visit your local temple, have prasad. And if possible, you can also, whatever food stuff you cook at home, first offer it to the Lord and then have it as a prasad, so that whole family gets benefit out of it. If anybody is interested, I can send the few prayers that has to be chanted for offering, Boga offering. There is something called Boga offering prayers, because we request our acharyas to go. We can't directly approach the Lord. We are not that qualified or purified. So we have to go through parampara. So when we go through parampara, or when they offer, that's why all the food stuff, it needs to have some tulsi leaf. If we don't have tulsi leaf, I was recommended, but even the tulsi stick, dry stick, it is potent. So they said you can dip it. You can just dip it and then take it out. That is so potent. In some part of the world, tulsi can't grow all time of the year. So in that case, they said you can do it, because Krishna will accept only if it is being touched by given by a pure devotee. And Tulsi is the very great devotee. So what is the cycle of sacrifice? So the Lord gave Vedas, and by following the Vedas, we do our prescribed duties. And by after doing the prescribed duties, we do sacrifice. And as a result of sacrifice, we get rain. As a result of rain, we get grain, the good harvest. And once we get a harvest, we again offer back to the Lord, and it gets sanctified, and then we consume it. So this is the cycle of sacrifice. By eating sanctified foodstuff, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in memory. That's what we saw. So this is what we saw. Like, Ishtan boga hi vo devan dasyante yajna bhavitaha tairdattan apradayebhyo yo bhukte stena eva saha. In charge of various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gift without offering them to the demigod in return is certainly a thief. So, say for example, I decide I am not going. Why? It is my effort. What is my effort? I went to the field. I did the hard work. I did. It is, even though if I'm doing the work, it is my effort. I think if I think that like that and enjoy without offering, I am the thief, because even if I have to work, right? Say, for example, I'm asked to come to the office, and if it is a heavy rain, if it is a tornado, how can I go to the office? Though it's my work, I still need nature's approval, correct? Only if everything is balanced, I can even travel to office. Correct. Similarly, if we have to grow the grain, it is, though we put the endeavor to grow the grain, we plow the field, we do so many things. Who is giving us the rain? Who is giving us the sunlight? Who is giving us the air? Everything has to be in equal proportion. And they say even the moonlight, it will, the juicy part of the vegetables and fruits, it's actually provided by the moonlight. So who is having the control of it? It's all only these demigods. So it is very important that whatever we consume, it's first offered as a sacrifice, and then only it's being consumed. Yajnasistan santo muchyante, yajnasista santo muchyante sarvakilbishaihi bhujyante te agam papa e panchanti atmaka karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins. Why? Because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So this is very important. It's been stressed multiple times in various places, like if we eat something which is not offered, it will only incur sin. So if we incur sin, what will happen? It will have an effect and we have to come back again and again. So who are santas? They are pure devotees of the Supreme Lord who see Lord in their heart of hearts with eyes, brim with devotion. And they are in eternal love with Govinda or Mukunda or Krishna. They cannot accept anything without first offering to Supreme Person. And yajnas performed by them in different modes of devotional service, like Shravanam, Kirtanam. There are 9 types of devotional service, right? So this will keep. What is the yajnas that is recommended? They say, you at this age of Kali, we don't have to create a big sacrifice and then invite so many people and spend a lot of ghee and oil and to do it. For Sankirtana Yajna is what being recommended at this age of Kali. So annad bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavah yajnat bhavanti parjanyo yajna karma samudbhavah. All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. Okay, we all subsist on grains. Without grains, we can't really lead a life, right? How much ever we can eat something else, we need our own staple food. So that's why it is said that Supreme Lord is the Yajna Purusha, is the benefactor of all this. And by sacrifice, even the body gets spiritualized, okay? Because even the finer cells get spiritualized, right? So when it gets spiritualized, then even the past sinful activities are nullified. कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितं. Regulated activities are prescribed in Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in its acts of sacrifice. Okay, so finally, everything is going to lead to the Supreme Lord. So, Yajnartat karma is a work necessary performedly for satisfaction of the Lord. Direction of such work are laid down from Vedas. So, that's why when we follow the Vedas, then we know what to do. Activity performed without the direction of Veda is called vikarma, or unauthorized or sinful. So, we can't do vikarma because that will only get us sin. Activities done in the direction of Vedas saves one from reaction of work. Direction in the Vedas are directly manifested from breathing of Supreme Lord. Okay. So Vedas actually came from Lord. So Vedas gives us instructions how to lead a regulated life, even though we want to satisfy our desires. So yes, I know you have some desires to satisfy, but do it in the right way. Just don't do just like that. But nowadays, we are out of it. The way we have been brought up, or whatever it is, the external world, they say, whoa, whoa. If we say that we are following, they say, what? Which world? You are in 2020. No, grow up. No, because they don't know what they are really talking about. They think it is just one life. We can do whatever we want. No, if we do whatever we want, if it is not authorized, then it will incur only sin. एवं प्रवस्थितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः Agyahur Indriya Ramo Moham Partha Sajivati. O Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of senses, such a person lives in vain. So Krishna is concluding the statement, you know what? You have to follow the regulated principles prescribed in the Shastras. If you are just living like any other being just to satisfy the senses, we don't need human form of life. Like we saw in the yoga ladder, that is what the lower form of life do to satisfy their senses. Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam, Maitunam. That is their four primary qualities of other living entities. But once we get a human form of life, we should understand, no, in the past I have led those life. I have come up the ladder to human form of life. Now, as a human, what is my duty? What is my next step? What should be my next destination? Do I want to go back and start the evolution process from again, or do I want to go forward? So that's what Krishna is saying. When in human life, you have to follow. If he's not doing it, then he is just living in vain. Okay? The human life is specifically meant for self-realization through any of these processes. Transcendentalists need not perform the rigid Vedas prescribed in the Vedas, rigid yajnas prescribed in the Vedas. Those engaged in sense gratification require purification by performance of yajnas. Sensory conscious person may satisfy the desires without being entangled in the reaction of sense gratificatory work. Specific yajnas are directly aimed at particular demigod mentioned in the Vedas. Through process of yajnas, one should transcend and become Krishna consciousness. So why do they have all these process? Eventually, it should lead them to Lord. So again and again, they are insisting that it is very human life is meant for self-realization, not to do the four activities which I have been performing even when I got the animal form of life. There are so many animal species. All the animal species will do the same four things. But I have already done that. That's what in Canto 7, Prahlad Maharaj says, Punarvita Charvita Charvanana, why are you chewing the chewed? Don't you know? You have already did it. You have already did same sense gratification. Life after lifetime. Aren't you getting tired up? Punarvita Charvita Charvananam. Stop chewing the chewed. We even in the cow, we will say, right? It will, if you have seen, after some time, before assimilation, it will bring up the food again and it will start chewing it again. So they're asking, aren't you tired? Wake up. So that's what it's all about. So at this moment, we will take a pause and see if there are any questions, clarifications, and for the verses which we saw today, before we stop the session and then continue tomorrow. Any questions, clarification? Yeah, please mark your attendance if it is not done so. I hope everybody is attending Bhakti Viksha group. I'm seeing enthusiastic participation. It's so nice to see that everybody is eager to join the classes. If anybody has not joined, I would request them to join and then take a benefit out of it. I hope everybody has completed the chapter 1 and chapter 2 quizzes. Anybody completed?
Completed chapter 1. Chapter 1 completed.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Haribo. Now, others, please take time to do it. It's very easy. It will be like a refresher. So if there are no more questions or clarifications, maybe we can pause the session for today and resume tomorrow. Thank you again for joining us this weekend. Maybe we'll stop. Vancha kalpatarupyasya kripa sindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees.